Hi there, my name is Denise Eckert, and I'm from the Relaxation Lounge. And I love coming on here and sharing tips and techniques and different practices to help reduce the stress in your life. And I'm very blessed today to have two amazing women to talk about sound therapy. Laura Notton is a registered social worker, psychotherapist, and certified sound therapist with 22 years of experience specializing in the treatment of anxiety, depression, stress reduction, and trauma. Now, Nicole Manes is a certified sound therapist, vocalist, musician, and a qualifying physiotherapist specializing in the treatment of stress, anxiety, depression. And Nicole is also a health and wellness entrepreneur with 15 years of public relations and strategic marketing agency experience. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you very much. Yeah, for having us on the show.
Now, what got you guys into doing sound therapy?
Well, I actually went to a colleague's sound bath in 2018, and it was one of those experiences that profoundly shifted me. So I went to one, and then all of a sudden, I had the best night of sleep I've had in years. I was able to relax in like moments, and I just felt that I needed to know everything that I could about what this was and what these quartz crystal bowls could do. And I signed up for the Institute for Traditional Medicine, and then fate would have it that I would meet Nicole there.
Yes, it was fate.
And Nicole's story.
Yeah, my story. I came to sound therapy as a singer and a vocalist, and I, for many years, had been very curious about these quartz crystal singing bowls because I've always had an interest in psychology and mindfulness and done mindfulness and kind of experienced the bowls, but I was very, very, very busy in my agency life. So I decided to make some changes and started freelancing, and that opened me up to giving me a bit more time to explore this world of sound therapy. What are these crystal bowls? And I kind of intuitively understood that the voice as well is very healing, and really lucky to find the Institute of Traditional Medicine in Toronto.
Lovely. Mm-hmm. So basically you do treatment of anxiety, depression, stress reduction, trauma. Now, how does sound therapy work?
Sound therapy is based on the understanding that sound and vibration can positively impact the body and the mind. And stress is underneath so much of what we experience in terms of duress, whether it's mental or physical. And I know Laura can speak to this intensely with her practice. One of the ways that sound naturally puts us into a relaxed state, whether we have any mindfulness or meditation tools, is the way that your brain, when it comes to quartz crystal singing bowls, for example, or other instruments with pure tones, your brain will literally start to entrain to the tones. So we can naturally downshift your brain waves into more relaxed states. That's one way that sound works.
I'd almost just maybe just the one ding. And I mean, are they special bowls? I guess you said they're crystals. So, I mean, it's not your kitchen bowls, right?
That's right. That's right. They're a little more delicate than your average crystal, even your crystal cutlery or china. But they're quartz crystal. They're poured so that the crystal is heated to 4,000 degrees and then poured into these molds. And it's basically a newer invention from what is known traditionally as a metal singing bowl. So traditions around the world have used singing bowls as part of their ritual, part of their self-care, as part of their community building. So these bowls, whether it's a metal bowl or a quartz crystal singing bowl, emit pure tones. So you've got all the range of overtones and frequencies, and it acts naturally on the body.
And the other cool thing about the bowls is that they have different tuning. So we can play, like we have a C bowl, a D bowl, E bowl, so the regular structure in music, and we can make chords, and we can make things called binaurals, which is when you have two bowls sometimes in the same note at a different pitch, and then they vibrate together, and that actually helps settle the brain really quickly. And there's loads of research on binaurals. Nicole might even be able to demonstrate a binaural, and this is what really puts the brain into a relaxed state without you having to really do any work other than just listen.
That's right. That's right. So, for example, we can
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And what notes were you playing there, Nicole?
this is a high G and this is a lower B. So they sit just far enough apart from each other to create a little bit of tension. Or for example, here's another example. So we've got a pure perfect F. And now we're going to do something with another F that's a little off.
And this creates what's called dissonance, which happens in all structures in music. But this dissonance helps to sometimes move certain energies out of the body. So we play all these things that are really harmonious, and we aim for that. But then sometimes we're doing the contrast and using dissonance to sometimes shake out some energy. So anyway, we'll get further into it, but it's a whole, 1 hour journey of sound where you'll go through this soundscape, and you'll go through a journey of, ups and downs. And it's really quite something to experience when you have the full 30 minutes to an hour.
Right. And what Laura is describing is what's called a sound bath, which is essentially a deep listening experience. So you can do it in person. You can also do it online, thankfully, during the pandemic. And all that's required from a sound bather is to just get as comfortable as possible. You lie down, sit down. Some people like to stretch. You give yourself what you need during a sound bath, and allow the sound to take you wherever your body needs to go, which might mean a really good nap. It's a wonderful compliment when people fall asleep.
And sometimes we add tuning forks. So this is a C and a G, and they have certain frequencies that are known to be very soothing. So hopefully it translates okay here on Zoom. This is another example of a pure tone instrument. And as soon as I hear those tuning forks, I just instantly start to relax. And you'll hear how the sound just travels out, and people ride through that sound. And suddenly they're not thinking about anything that's going on in their life. They've just went into a meditative experience without even really realizing it.
Yeah. And I love that you have provided a practice for the relaxation lounge. And I know they are very short, because that's my goal, to help people do these practices in a very short period of time. But how long do you really need to do a sound bath to experience these benefits?
The research would say at least 20 minutes. You have to be, ideally you're lying down, and that allows for the body to go into parasympathetic, otherwise known as the rest and digest. And often we're up in the stress response running around, and we're not in rest and digest. So you do need about 20 minutes, but we've had people say that they have an experience after 2. So, there's anecdotal research of people saying, if I just listen to this for 2 minutes, I feel, soothed. And if you use your voice, even for 2 or 3 minutes, you will stimulate your vagus nerve in your body, which is that big nerve that runs down your entire body, that touches all your organs. So you can vibrate yourself into states of relaxation through a little bit of vocal toning, which we may get into today, or maybe in the exercise afterwards, or through humming.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, anecdotally, myself, I will listen to sound sometimes for just 1 minute, 2 minutes, and it will shift my mood. It will lift. I can feel, the heaviness, for example, lift. So certainly 20 minutes, your brain waves are really going to get that opportunity to be in a long-term kind of really relaxed state. But personally, it can just be a minute or two as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just you even playing these bowls here right now, I feel completely different than when I started this interview, to be honest with you.
Nice.
How does it help people reduce their stress and their mental health, improve their mental health?
Well, we found, and Nicole probably has some things to add here too, but we found primarily that a lot of people come to us and they say that they can't meditate, and that prospect is really intimidating. And you see people sitting up on a pillow and they're doing these different types of meditations. So what it does is allow you to get into this relaxed state, downshift your nervous system really quickly without you really having to do anything. And all we would do during a sound bath is ask people to maybe focus on just noticing their body, really listening to the sound. So in terms of how it improves mental health, we all need to slow down, reconnect, know what we're feeling, and also be able to track sensation in our body. So it's really an easy way to meditate and let the brain rest and recalibrate, because our worlds are pretty stressful. And I know Nicole probably has some things to add to that as well.
I agree with you, because I'm one of these people. I'm not a great meditator, because when I stop, it's almost like you stop and your brain catches up, and then you're thinking about, okay, I need to do this and I need to do that, and you're thinking about how am I formatting this, and how I'm thinking about my projects. I don't stop. So for me, meditation very rarely does it work for me. And I've done the sound baths that you provided for the lounge, and because I find that you're listening, and it just puts you like almost in an instant trance. It's very, very powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. It's accessible in that way. It like Laura said, it can be daunting. Oh, I'm going to meditate now. I'm going to clear my mind. All these pesky thoughts, Whereas we're used to listening to sound, and when you realize, oh, my mind's wandering, just bring it gently back to the sound. And then on top of it, you're going to get that physical effect of the vibration with your body. So it's easy. There's no technique involved per se. And it may become a gateway to more traditional meditation for people too.
That's true.
They learn to be with themselves a little bit, because that's daunting.
Now, I noticed too in the practices that you provided, you've incorporated your voice as well. So what was the reasoning behind that?
Well, voice is actually the number one sound healing tool that we all have. So certainly in our culture, unless you're a singer, unless you can sing well, don't use your voice, which is a tragedy, because in essence, we all have a voice. We all have this inner resonant instrument, and using voice and sounds is universal, and so when you can combine certain vocal tones and melodic shifts with the bowls, that can elevate the amount of sound energy that's coming through, essentially. So that's been a really wonderful journey for myself, and I know Laura as well, exploring voice in tandem with the bowls and with these other instruments, that all of a sudden, your voice is resonating with the bowls and creating those binaural beats. And there's something very visceral about hearing a voice as well as part of a sound bath. Not all sound baths necessarily have voice, but the sound baths that Laura and I facilitate do. And there is something very powerful about hearing a voice resonating with tones, again, that are universal in terms of sacred vowel sounds, essentially.
And when we do our workshops, so we offer sound bath experiences where you just come and meditate and sound with us and relax. But when we do the workshops, we sometimes have people do vocal toning exercises with that instrument behind me called a shruti box, which is from India. And it makes these beautiful sounds with lots of overtones. And Nicole and I emphasize over and over and over again, this isn't about performance. This is just about learning how to resonate your entire body, and that vibration calms you down. So, you know, we might do oohs or ahs or e's, these elongated vowel sounds, and that's often enough to settle people really quickly. So sometimes when people do the workshops, we will do that and they'll be like, oh, I'm worried about my voice. And we're like, it's not about that. It's just about making that sound. And especially when there's a bunch of people doing it, it's even more powerful.
Cole, I noticed that when you are using your voice, it's not just, it's a very deep throated voice that you're using, or deep throated sounds. And why is that?
Well, different voice placement. So what you're referring to would be more of a chest voice. And certainly at the beginning of a sound bath, I like to allow people the opportunity to kind of drop into their bodies, just kind of relax. And using a deeper tone of voice alongside the bowls is a way to help induce that really grounding sensation. I don't necessarily want to start chirping away really high, you know, or anything too dramatic. So I do like to start sound baths with a nice grounding tones.
Can you give us an example?
Sure. So tone A is seen very much as a clearing tone. So that is one that often we like to use at the beginning of our sound baths. So, settling in.
Wow. To anybody who's listening, they're going to be feeling so much more relaxed.
That's our goal.
Hopefully they're not driving and whatever.
Actually, that's funny. Laura and I always tell people after our in-person sound baths, and even online, if you're going to be driving or when you're getting in your car after your sound bath, just make sure you're present. It's similar to massage, right? You've left a massage, you're feeling extra loose. You just kind of make sure you got your feet on the ground.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be wrapping this up. Do you have anything else you'd like to share with the audience today?
Well, we're so honored to be brought into your community, and we're excited to also offer a few exercises similar to the ones that we've been chatting about. So perhaps a toning exercise that all of you can try at home. And again, it's not about singing or sounding perfect. It's just about sounding your voice. And looking forward to see what your community thinks about some simple sound-based exercises that Laura and I will offer you guys as well.
Yeah, wanted to thank you again for having us on your show. Really, Nicole and I love to talk about our work and what we're doing. Only to add that sometimes the sound baths, because I'm a registered social worker, can be covered under insurance plans. So that's like a little bonus there. So just wanted to put that out there too. And yeah, it was lovely to talk to you about sound today.
Now, do you have a special giveaway or discount that you can offer our listeners today?
Absolutely. So if you email us and reference the code Relaxation Lounge, then we'll give you a discount on the services of interest.
Now, what services do you actually provide? So I know, Nicole, you've been mentioning, or both of you have been mentioning workshops. Are these online, or what kind of services do you offer the public?
Well, I can start with just talking about the workshops, and Nicole can talk about the sound baths. So the workshops Nicole and I have developed, they target 3 areas. They target boundaries, the power of self-compassion, what is stress and anxiety, and they mix psychoeducation with actual experiences that clients go through. So what we call like mindfulness-based sound experiences. And we also will tailor a workshop for a corporation. So say if the corporation's restructuring, we might talk about, change and how to manage change. So we really do all sorts of different things. We offer those in person as well as online. So it's the combination of like Western psychology and the latest on neurobiology around stress, and combined with these really neat sound-based exercises to help you learn how to use the power of sound. And I think they're pretty unique and interesting. We've got some really great feedback so far on them. And it's certainly a different way to be in a workshop in a corporate setting. We're not going to be like sort of prattling away with tons of information. We're going to do a little bit of that, but then we're going to have you have this really felt experience in the body.
So amazing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we work, like Laura says, with workplaces, but also with individuals, workshops. And then all of our workshops also include a sound bath experience at the end. So sometimes clients just want a sound bath. So we create a really nicely tailored sound bath experience, a guided body scan meditation at the top, but we can mix and match and like Laura said, tailor the topic to the needs of our clients.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I just feel so relaxed just sitting here now. It's so nice to be introduced to different modalities, and there's so much out there that that we don't know about. And I don't know how I came across Nicole. I think it was on LinkedIn or something, but I'm so grateful that we've met. And,
likewise. Likewise, Denise. Thank you so much for this, and looking forward to sharing time and sound with you again soon.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for listening. If you're looking for more ways to reduce the stress in your life, please visit www.therelaxationlounge.info. Here I've got access to a free Facebook page where you can get support, information on the podcast where I interview different individuals who share their techniques to help you reduce your stress, plus a membership that you can join where you can come and do stress-reducing practice on demand anytime you need to reduce the stress in your life and create more happiness in your world. I'll see you in the lounge.